Your Houston Texans visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Stroud looking, throwing over the middle. Hits Nico. A touchdown, Houston!
Coverage begins at 6:30 on News Talk 710 KURV.
It's the biggest liquidation sale of the year event at South Texas Buick GMC. Drive home a Buick Encore GX for only $99 a month, or get behind the wheel of a GMC Sierra for just $139 a month. It's the biggest sale of the year. GMC, we are professional grade. Visit us at southtexasgmc.com or schedule your test drive at 956-661-5000. Take the Sherry Road exit between McAllen and Mission. South Texas Buick GMC. Happy holidays.
Thank you, McAllen, and thank you, Rio Grande Valley, for listening today to News Talk 710 KURV, the Valley's official home for Fox News Radio.
Time is 10:22, the Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV, which I guess for this segment would be Sergio Squared, right? I want to say thank you to our supporters, South Texas Buick GMC. Thank you to Lone Star National Bank. We are in election season, people. It's here, man. It's like, I think we're about, I would say, maybe 5 weeks away from early vote. As I mentioned in that conversation I had with L.J. Francis from the State Board of Education last hour. We're about 5 weeks away from early vote. Election day is coming up first Tuesday of March. It'll be here before you know it. And on the Republican side, one of the more interesting and heated races would be for a state house representatives, Texas State House of Representatives, seat number 41. And I'm looking forward to catching up to speed with some of the candidates, if not all, this week. And they're all lining up. First up is El Tocayo, Sergio J. Sanchez, who is a local attorney, a former prosecutor, and a local attorney. And were you the first one who filed for this one else? I don't remember. It was either you or Sarah. I don't remember.
Yes, I was. Yes,
you were the first one?
I was. Yeah, okay. I filed first, and the order of things was the very next day, our current state rep Bobby Guetta announced that he was not going to run, and then the next day others started coming.
There we go. On the Democrat side, they started falling too. Yeah. All right. So Republican Sergio J. Sanchez is in the studio, and you're going to hear plenty from him and some of the other candidates are also running on the Republican side and other local interesting races on the Republican side. So how goes the campaign, man?
It's good. It's positive. Yeah, we're out. The message is getting out, getting a great response. And this is the time. You mentioned it's coming up 5 weeks. February 17th is early voting. March the 3rd is obviously election day, but it's time to distinguish yourself in your field. And so I'm happy to do that.
When you speak with folks, and I know you're still running your law office, still working for a living.
I've got a day job. Yeah. Got a day job.
But when you actually meet folks, so what are some of the red meat issues that Republicans are sharing with them?
Everybody knows property taxes. Yeah. We know border security, the hot topics that we've seen, maybe since you've been on your break, was this huge fraud in Minnesota of the allegation of the Somali community and of a huge area of $9 billion worth of fraud. And what does something over there on that side of the country have to do with here? It happens here. It happens here. And substitute the Somali community for illegal immigrants here in this country that abuse the system. And the point of it all is the direct connection of how do you lower property taxes? And it might seem like two stories that are not related, but they are. This is one of my plans on how to lower property taxes, not only to fight to eliminate fraud, which I've done as a prosecutor. I've done that for a lot of years. I made a career doing that. But also to clamp down on the illegal alien community receiving benefits outside of emergency services. And this is a way to transfer a huge tax base back to the community, District 41, to lower property taxes. This is one of my platforms. So you have to have a plan. You can't just go out and say, I'm going to lower property taxes. What is your plan? I'm happy to talk about it.
Well, on the property tax side, what it funds, a big chunk of that, I was reflecting on some of the numbers, like $4 out of $10 in taxes go to education. I was talking about that, whether State Board of Education, one of the commissioners last hour, 4 out of $10 go towards education. Well, when you have a population base that is expanding rapidly under a nightmare scenario like the one we had under Joe Biden, where it was open borders and people abused the system and crossed the border illegally or had no right to be here, jumped the line, compared to all the folks that are waiting in line and paying their attorneys and filing fees and doing the paperwork to come to and wait for that moment to be called to come into the country.
And
they
doing
jumped
it the
the
right way. Doing it the right way.
Right. But yeah, millions who can cross the border and game the system.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that expands the population, the services on the education side, education funded by the local taxpayer for more butts in the seats. But some of these administrators say, "Oh, that's no problem. More butts in the seats, more money for us." Yeah, but taxpayers they're the ones that are footing the bill
so
for all this.
We provide a free education. The Supreme Court says, regardless of where they were born, regardless of their citizenry, regardless of whether they're here illegally, every child will receive a free education from the school district. And that Supreme Court law, agree with it or not, we must respect the Supreme Court, what they issue. But it's not free. That's the point of it. Yeah. It's not free. Someone's got to pay for it.
Yeah.
So that's one of the benefits of shutting down the border, which I think is huge. Numbers have come down. Thank God for that. Thank God for that, because that free education gets passed along to us property owners, or by way of rent, it gets passed along to you by higher rents.
Shutting down the border to illegal or shutting down the border to uncontrolled migration. There is a process. There are laws. There is a process for the benefit and protection of our nation. And by extension, the property owners, business property owners, home property owners who have to foot the bill for the education establishments in the area who carve and will scoop that wealth away from the property. You're paying for the illegals coming into this country and getting their education, not to mention everything else, the health services and other services that are there. That's why we need controlled migration.
For sure. And follow the law. And the process is long and arduous, no doubt. I understand it to be 10 years. I understand you need to go through the consulate. I understand all of the vetting that happens. There's a lot of people that do it the right way, and I'm respectful of them. I kudos to them. They deserve all of the benefits and all of the rights that the green card gives you. You earned it, and you did it the right way. There's a lot of those people here in this country. 100% respectful of that.
I was telling Freddie last hour in just an editorial, because we have DHS Secretary Kristi Noem in the area doing a roundtable in Brownsville today, and there's a lot of complaining, some because of business in the business sector, construction, or in agriculture, or some other business. So, well, pobrecitos, well, the reason that it is so foreign, what is taking place now, the actual enforcement of immigration law, is because it hasn't been done before properly. And so people, Americans don't recognize the benefit of controlling, for the benefit of all of our communities, controlling migration.
It goes back to Reagan. I think he was the last one to have a serious discussion on this, to offer.
And he got duped, and we never learned back then. He provided amnesty for 3 million and never got the border controls that were promised to him.
That was the last serious discussion. It's just been a whole lot of words from then until now. And the truth is, Serge, is that it's good for politics to have such a serious issue be pending. It's good. The Democrats play to this, and they raise money on this, and the other side are the bad guys to even broach the subject. Yeah. It's been good for politics since Reagan brought up the issue of providing work visas and kind of a form of amnesty, if you would say, way back then. There has to be a compromise. For sure, a lot of those people that are working, that is being discussed right now, I know Congresswoman De La Cruz has brought this issue up with the local builders, is there has to be a penalty for them if they're going to remain. There has to be. And I'm jumping way past Austin, and now we're speaking to national concepts. But there has to be a penalty because they jumped to the front of the line. They did not wait the 10 years. They did not do and jump through the hoops. And there has to be a significant penalty if that work program is going to come.
I would reinforce what you're saying, because that advocacy needs to happen at the local level and at the state level to reinforce for the sake of the proper application of this policy at the national level. It has to be local. And we're missing a lot of those voices in local leadership at county and at city. They're still playing that a yellow belly approach where, oh, no, pobrecitos. And no, sir. Are we going to protect our communities? Yes or no? And for many of local leadership, it's no. They just they want to look the other way.
Well, Dr. Jerry Pollinard, a mentor of mine, a lot of years ago taught me that all politics is local. So forget Washington, D.C. It's here in our backyard. It's right here, not only because we're on the border, but just because these issues arise. But take Houston, take San Antonio, take South Dallas, take all of the communities of Texas. Now we are Latinos are a minority majority in the state, and these issues are huge, not just in the Valley. So to have this discussion here, yes, obviously it's in our backyard, but it affects all of us in Texas. This includes clinics. This includes this free medical care. This includes so much that we need to tighten the belt of this. And you pass that along. How do you reduce property taxes? You have to have a plan. This is part of my plan.
Part of it is reinforcing, advocating for controlled migration, and make sure that the taxpayer is not abused, especially on funding education and everything else, like you mentioned.
And there is such a spillover of this national issue, but it affects us here in McAllen, Edinburgh, Mission, and far. It's such a big issue in D.C., but it's right here. And this has created a huge problem. Thank goodness we can talk about it freely, openly. This is I've had pushback, and I read comments and stuff of how can you say these things? Because I've got a paycheck and I've got a family and I've got bills to pay, no different than everyone else. Others living on fixed income. My mom is an example.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. Property tax.
For sure. It affects us all, especially the older in our community.
Republican Sergio J. Sanchez, who I get, somebody was some low information dude, and I appreciate him listening, commented on hey, Sergio Sanchez, he needs to step away from the radio if he's running for office. Dude, I'm reminded of Foghorn Leghorn. Pay attention, boy. He commented online. We'll leave the comment section open. That on the other side of my desk is Sergio J. Sanchez. I'm Sergio A. Sanchez. I'm the host of the Sergio Show, and my friend attorney Sergio J. Sanchez, Republican, is running for the State House 41, State House of Representatives, District 41. And, of course, red meat issues, property tax.
For sure. Serge, if I could just touch on another huge issue, the Somali incident in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. Huge fraud. Again, I prosecuted those cases. We just executed a warrant on a dictator in Venezuela, not president, a dictator. He's in custody. He's now in the federal detention center in Brooklyn, was arraigned on Monday, Mr. Maduro. And I want to point out, this is just simply a cartel leader. There was an arrest warrant on that, and it was executed. Thank God none of our service members were injured. But
killed. They were a few injured, but not killed. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And thank God. I understand that they're all going to recover. I did read that. That I have a background in this. I've prosecuted these cases. Just a bad cartel guy. I've sat across the table from him. I want, again, this is the time in this sprint between now and the next few weeks to differentiate myself from this crowded Republican primary field. I've gone toe-to-toe with these guys and ladies of the cartels. And Maduro out of Venezuela is no different than the local cartels here on the border where we're at. And so these border issues are huge. Border security is huge for District 41. I speak to this at my site, sergiofortexas.com. This background and these issues seem like they're on the other side of the world. They're also here in our backyard.
Yeah, they're intertwined. We got so many folks who put on a uniform every single day.
Yes.
And don't know if they're going to come back to their family every day in the drug interdiction.
And there's a reason that the secretary is here as we speak, here in this district. Secretary Noem is here. This is ground zero. She is smart enough to go to right to the heart of it. This is a huge corridor into this entire section of the country. Vast amount of drugs come from Central and South America and Mexico, obviously. And now we've gone from regular kilos in marijuana. We've upgraded to fentanyl, the most deadly in many, many kilos. It could kill tens of thousands of people. And I see these cases. So good for her for being here. And it's just to highlight that border issues are paramount.
You have anything on the calendar you want to mention? Fundraisers or powwows or
small fundraiser tomorrow here with some of the local lawyers dealing with the criminal defense bar and the plaintiff's bar and the scope of that at the next session and also next week another small fundraiser. Happy to give you more details as they come in.
Come back and see us. I look forward to hearing from you and other folks who are courageously sacrificing personal time and family time and professional time and business time. They're out there pressing the flesh and fighting the good fight. And God bless all the candidates. And I mentioned this for the Republicans. You guys on the Democrat side, you can pat each other on the back over there, but we need more courageous Republicans and conservatives to step up and get their butts on the ballot. And you'll see him on the ballot, Sergio J. Sanchez. He is running for State House of Representatives, number 41. Come back and see us, brother.
Thank you. I can tell you the governor's interested in the race. This seat is ready to be flipped. Thank you.
Thank you. Time is 10:38. The Sergio Show on Newstalk 710 KURV. This hour, the program is service of Lone Star National Bank. Big thank you as well to South Texas Buick GMC.